guys, it's Parsifal. I also go by Will, and I just fucked up that intro. I am so sorry. I am back with another section of my 2015 sketchbook pile from my giant sketchbook haul. As a reminder, these are pre-filmed, so I believe this is the first video I'm actually recording where I don't say Parsifal's Judgment, even though it's probably going up, I don't know, a month, 2 months later. But today I have the last sketchbooks that are officially part of the 2015 pile. I do have 2 other sketchbooks that are there are 2 transitionary sketchbooks between 2015 and 2016. So those I still have to film, but these are the last ones that are entirely in 2015. And I got a bunch more stickers on these as usual. This one I can get to at the time, but this one doesn't have stickers on it. So we are starting with this one, since this one's the earliest. These are actually, these ones are Scratch and Sniff, which I find that you can't really find Scratch and Sniff stickers around very often anymore, which is really a shame, because I really love Scratch and Sniff stickers. And this is from August to October. And it was the beginning of my senior year of college. This was actually signed by Scott McCloud. I got to see him when he did a lecture at my university, and if you don't know Scott McCloud, he does a really great series on making comics. He has a bunch of books written about the subject and several well-done comics and well-received comics of his own. So I will link his information in the description because you really should check out his books. They are amazing. So this is the start of when I was working with the design for my character Silas. This is Leia when I tossed her into Pharos that I eventually reused that art for something. Leia and her friend Teal. This is a lot more group art because I was really active in those groups at the time. And I really started drawing consistently for those groups because I enjoyed them. I believe this, I hadn't started school yet, but this was when I went to Vegas with my family, because I remember doing these with a very limited color palette, especially this one. This one was a mixed media with different Copics and different pens and pencils that I had out on me at the time. This was a hairstyle meme with my character Tiefin. It doesn't really look good in any of these. I attempted to design a Grim that didn't turn out very well. This is a comic that I did for the RP group I was in with Silas. My friend's character Tealine. Mary from another RP group I was in. More pictures of characters from the RP group I was in. That's Silas again. This was a concept art for a design I was doing for Silas's home mansion thing. Or, no, this was a design for a casino environment that I thought about, but we never really used. Mise from the RP group. Mary again. There's a lot of Mary in here because I really loved her design. I believe this was another character I saw in a dream and I wanted to doodle him down, but I'm never really good at drawing doodle characters. Another comic. Another character from Constance. Constance again. Leia and Pharos. This was, I was playing around with my green brush pen and green drawing pencil. More Constance. Vale. And this is not, this is specifically the type of, this isn't psychopathy as in like the medical disorder. It was a World of Darkness flaw, like trait that the character had, which was not, it's not accurate to the actual medical diagnosis. It was just a game mechanic, unfortunately. Character I don't use anymore. Character's weapon design. She was a Ruby character, I believe, and she had a bow that turned into a crossbow that turned into a sword. Another Ruby OC design that I did. A character of mine for the Pokemon fan region that my friend and I have. Veil again, because I believe this is when I was pretty deep in the World of Darkness campaign that my friends ran called Springfield. Alarico. Tiefan again for Pharaohs when I was still working with brush pens. And this is when I started to try and do backgrounds more often because I really sucked at backgrounds. Another Pharaohs character who had a really cool design. She had rollerblades as weapons. Silas as a snake. Another Ruby character that I never used. Some symbol concepts. Another Ruby character I didn't use. Another Ruby character, she was I believe she was like a deer faunus or something. Character I never used. I have a lot of those in this one. I had a period of time where I would create a bunch of characters just because I wanted to create them, but I never really used them and they never really went anywhere. This I wanted to do a patterned dress, so I basically took a pencil, scribbled all over, and made sure that the start and the stopping end point were the same end point, and then just colored in the spaces. It's like a math game or something that I learned in class a billion years ago. My fan Pokemon professor, his name is Professor Hawthorne. He does not like children. This was an attempt at drawing in pen, drawing from life, which I wasn't very good at. Mary again, I think this was in blue brush pen or blue Sharpie, not Sharpie, Crayola? I remember I was trying to use up that blue. Tiefan and Hawthorne again. My character Sam, who is Tiefan's dad. He's also in some universes an archangel. And he had a semblance called Wither, where he would basically absorb the life force of living things that he touched, including like grass and stuff, so no one could touch him. And I figured that would be a cool way to try and play with words and shadows. This was a birthday gift from my friend's character. Another character from Constance. Veil. Both a Ruby OC and a Electros Gajinka. The evolved version of Tynamo. He's also a villain in my superhero story. That's Sam again. Sam and his son, who is kind of afraid of him. Not afraid of him as a person, because he's a pretty chill person, but he does not want to be an embarrassment. Gestures. This was a completed piece I did for Pharaohs of my character Tiefan and his team, and this is after my character Tiefan got a hair change. So his team were trying to find a waterfall, and they were in a forest, so they decided to make a stack pile, because Tiefan is the strongest. He was on the bottom. Tiefan again. I think this was a study of a lowish thing. And then this is me trying to apply that style to my friend's character. This was a design that I tried again to like apply what I had learned to a new character design that didn't really turn out. This is when I really worked with color palettes and tested out different colors. I don't use this character anymore, but at the time I wanted to make another Ruby OC. This is Venice. He's another Ruby OC. He's a villain, actually, and I actually do still use him occasionally. And his teammate Henley, who I think got a redesign. Yeah, he got a slight redesign, though. This anatomy is not very good. Though I think this was around the time where I stopped caring. And there are times where I just stop caring about anatomy for a little bit because I want to finish things or make things into like a stylized form, and it doesn't always work, but I do find that sometimes if you're struggling with learning and improving, stop caring about one thing and focus on another. So I believe at the time I stopped caring about anatomy and started working on like focusing on doing line art and finishing things and making sure I was happy with what I was doing at the time. My character Regis again. This is an attempt at a Rubyverse, but I decided against it. He had a cape that he would tie around his waist and then use as like a cloak or a matador cape. A Steven Universe OC that I don't currently use. Wow, I could not talk there. Regis again. Another Ruby OC. I don't use a lot of these characters anymore. I still have them, so they're still mine, but I don't use them for anything. Santiago Chef, he's a Pokemon slash, like, revamped Pokemon OC that turned into actual OC. Dean. I think these were some Your Character Here stuff that I wanted to do, but I never ended up doing it. My character Sadik, doing like a really anime style thing, because I just want to see how it would look. My character Kazel, this is the first art that I officially ever did with him, and I actually really do love this art. More Your Character Here's I never did. I apologize, my phone rang while I was busy recording. So I believe I was at my character Cromwell here. This is Kazel's brother Kalen. This was me attempting to color over a pen sketch, and I actually really liked how the shading turned out, but it was a pen sketch, so I couldn't clean it up. This is also the start of Goretober, I believe, so I apologize for those who are squeamish. I do like monsters a lot, so if you don't like body horror or gore, then you might want to stop now. This is my character Tristan. Tristan again. I think this is all concept stuff for Tristan. And they're like a fairy, but like with a bunch of eyes. This is an attempt at doing Tristan in a Crystal Gem alternate universe. More pen sketches with purple pen. I don't remember what this one was, but it was definitely for Goretober. I think I was drawing this when I was asleep, and I tried to do this to keep awake. Didn't turn out very well. Sailor Moon fan art. Magical Girl concept fan art for some characters. I think this was supposed to be Stevani. My friend's character Emily. More Goretober stuff. Attempted a Pearl. Attempted a Lapis. Attempted a Garnet. I liked Steven Universe at the time, but I could not draw in that style to save for the life of me. I don't remember what this was, but I believe this was just another random sketch. Yeah, oh, I didn't mention what this was. This is, oh, I believe it's a Strathmore drawing pad, but I'm not entirely sure. It's a 5.5 by 8.5, and it is 100 sheets. But yeah, I don't know what kind of paper it is, unfortunately, because my stickers covered it up. This sketchbook was a smaller sketchbook. It's probably the smallest I can actually effectively go. It's about the size of my hand. It's about the size of a postcard, so it's just like, it's like 5 inches tall and like maybe 3 or 4 inches wide. It's really thin. But I got this when I was abroad in the UK when we visited somewhere, and because of the size, I thought it was really cool, and I really want to actually try and use it and not just have it be lying around. So I picked this one up as like a quick pickup sketch thing, and I actually did like the size of it, but I don't think I would go any smaller than this sketchbook in terms of size, like, ever, because this was already difficult for me. So yeah, we started October 4th and ended November 24th. And I think this was a concept art for a tarot-based character. There is a bit of a coffee stain on some of these pages because someone spilled coffee, like, right next to me. Fortunately, it didn't actually get on the actual paper, but, I mean, it got on the paper somewhat, but didn't ruin anything, but, yeah. This was when I was experimenting with a brush pen with my character Vinka. There's Lavender again. I think I was going to do some Ariel fan art, but I never finished it. I had a hard time doing fan art when I was, I can do fan art now. I still struggle with it, but I have a lot of trouble seeing things in my style for fan art, so things don't tend to look correct to me when I'm drawing fan art, so I really struggle with doing it. I try my best though, because it was just something about getting more comfortable with my style and how things look in my style, and not trying to make things look like the original, because I'm not copying the original artwork. This is my OC Kane, as opposed to Tivo, whose surname is Kane. Sailor Moon fan art. Another character that I don't really use anymore. Current, and I had a pink pen that I was doodling with at the time. My magical girl, Gisela. I don't remember what this was. I think this was Christoph Gavin fan art with his hair down, but I don't remember. Or could have been fan art of someone else, because this is really generic and I can't tell. My character, Vale. I can't turn these pages very well. This was actually a 2 or 3 page comic that I did on multiple sheets of my character Bernard consuming someone, because in the campaign that we were in, he ate a person's soul. There's Vale again. Tiefin. There's Claire for Goretober. And Claire is Hazel's dad. He died, quite obviously. Vale in the campaign got elected as the church deacon, which was really, really weird, and I decided to draw a cutesy, uncharacteristically anime picture of it to celebrate. This was for April Fool's. It wasn't like, this was done in October, so it wasn't like April Fool's, but yeah. My character's easy, and I wanted to try different texture patterns with this. I actually really like how this one turned out. My character Silas. My fan gem again. And his halberd. More playing around with the brush pen. I had a lot of just like unusually colored pens around this time. So this one was with the pink one that I had. And I wanted to see how it would look with like a soft pink Copic marker with it. And then I used my black and gray. So I actually really like how this one turned out too. I like the different textures. My character Leon again. My character Liren. This is Mandela. You might have seen him in another few sketchbook videos. And he's my magical boy who fights with a baseball bat. And this is his magical boy form. This is one of his teammates. I don't remember her name, though. I wrote it down somewhere, but I don't remember off the top of my head. This is a version of my character Lidden when he's pretending to be someone else for an RP, and his name was Blake at the time. This was for another campaign I was doing where I was trying to figure out how my character Anane would look in 1920s clothes, and I was never really happy with how that turned out, but I drew him a lot to try and figure out what he would look like. This is what Nane looked like when he was 17. But I did a lot of sketches with him because I really just could not figure out how to get his hair or his walking stick together. So I struggled with that a lot. The walking stick is named Autonomy. But it can also be pronounced autotomy because he spells it with like the Saturn symbol, which is an H and a T. So this is Blink as a pirate. This is more attempts to Blink as a pirate that I was trying different things out with. This is Anane's mother, Takane. And that was the end of that sketchbook. This one I didn't really use with as much finished work because it was just so small. I didn't feel like I could finish it all. But I did a lot of like just pencil sketches in here that I later scanned and did digitally. And then this is a Walgreens brand sketchbook. It was like, I don't know, like 50 pages, 25 sheets or something. It's really thin paper, and it was like $2, $3 or something. I don't remember why I picked it up, but I think it was like I saw it and I'm just like, I should try this because I like trying sketchbooks that are about this size. This is actually from a company that sells like underwear, and this is one of their like sticker designs that I supported them on Kickstarter because I thought it was a cool design. This is a Rainbow First Blood, which is like a rainbow parody, which I thought was really cool. So this was started in October and it ended in December. The date is up here. And this is Anane, his mom, and his mom's date mate, who is gender fluid, but because we were in the 1920s, they were a flapper at the time. And this is actually a version of the god Anansi. This is concept art for my character Dana. And I actually redesigned her because I didn't like how this looked. And I was using her in a Madoka Magical group. This was another attempt at redesigning Dana, and I didn't like that either. This is the design I eventually ended up with. She had an Aphrodite-themed, like, magical girl theme. Tessa Quinn, which is... She's a character from the webcomic Sleepless Domain, which I will link in the description, and Tessa is really, really cool. She's one of my favorite characters. Characters I don't use anymore. A character that I got through I bought off a friend because I thought she was pretty. And like a snake person character. This is a comic that I was going to do. Not this part, but this top part, but it never ended up panning out. This is my character Static again. This is me trying to redesign my character Slate, because I realized that I was drawing him like a white boy, and like there is no part of his heritage that's actually white. His father is like African, and his other biological parent is Chinese, so he wouldn't be white. And I realized I was drawing him like a white dude, and it got better though. This is also from 2015, so I'm sure I can draw it better now. This is Slate and his boyfriend Zizi. This was an art trade that I did with my friend of this is Alexandrite and his best friend Jade. Another character that I have that I don't use very often. Another picture of Dana. I don't remember if I scanned this in digitally, but I was doing a sketch of Dana. An old character I don't really touch anymore, but I still like going back to draw. His name is Damien, and he's Bennett's son. Comic that I never ended up finishing. My character Cameron. I did end up lining this digitally. And this was him during a Dungeons & Dragons session. ZZ again. Character design stuff when I was trying to draw bulkier characters. I could not draw, like, muscular characters or heavier characters for the life of me back then. I've gotten a lot better now, but it took a long while, and I still struggle sometimes. Character design stuff for two of my characters' kids. This is some Pharaoh Space stuff. This was for my sister, and this is another friend's character, Han, and that's Leia. Bennett again. My character Tivo's daughter, her name is Victoria. This was a concept art of a character that I have who used to be a Dragonair Gajinka, that was his name, and I turned him into a character that I currently use a lot. Actually, this is Gawain. He has a twin brother named Galahad. This is Gawain and his boyfriend Brodelac. I don't remember what this was. I think this might have been a self-portrait at some point or something. I don't know, but I never finished this. I drew a classmate. I tried to draw my character the Bard again. Didn't work out. Thumbnails for something. Some experimentation with some really, really light colored Copic markers. More pen sketches. Another quick comic that I never finished. There's some random doodles of my characters. This was a color palette challenge, and I used I think I mostly used Crayola markers for this, which was a pain in the butt when I actually did it. But this is for autumn. Another comic for Pharaohs of what my character was thankful for, and Tiefin loves his girlfriend. Another comic that I never finished. This was originally going to be for Dana for Magica Hostia. Green pen sketches. And this is another small comic. Doodle my character Lidden. I did a lot more comics as I went on, because it was around this time where I'm like, I don't do comics as much anymore. I should start doing them again. This is my character Ludwig and his boyfriend Sadek. There they are again. Ludwig has really wavy hair. There's Anane again, still trying to figure out how his clothes work, and I didn't like any of it. Leia in a fish fan dress. Character design thing that I did for a vampire, and I decided that I want him to be a Jiangshi. Ludwig again, and a sketch of someone with bubblegum that I don't know who that is, and I never finished. My sister's character Marcus. That's Bennett sleeping, because I was tired that day. Really, really tired. I just keep on getting interrupted today. I'm sorry, there's 2 different cuts, 3 different segments of this video. So I apologize if it's a bit less polished than the rest of them. But yes, I believe I was here, and these are just thumbnails from one of my final projects my senior year, where I took my character Emery and put them into a comic that was themed after classic 1950s superheroes. And I was doing a modern take on it, and yeah, this is just all concept stuff. This was a study I did from an online life drawing slideshow thing, which I find very helpful, and I will link one of them, the one that I used, down in the description. But yeah, they're really helpful, and you can basically do life drawing online. I believe this was from a tabletop session. My character Dana again, and her brother Austin. Another character from Magica Hostia. I did this one with nail polish, actually, which is what I was just experimenting with, because I had 2 different types of nail polish, so I tried to draw with them. Color palette challenge with my character Sage. Some pen drawings. And my character Brangain. And she's a white mage healer type, but she has a really poor attitude. But yeah, that's basically it for these sketchbooks. This is all the ones that I completely did in 2015. And next time, I will cover the ones that I did between 2015 and 2016. So, as usual, if you have any questions for me, or if you have any topics that you'd like me to talk about in future videos, you can feel free to leave them down in the comments or message me on any of my social media, which is also in the description below. I will link anyone I have mentioned in the description as well, and I thank you all for your support. Thank you so much. Bye!